Ranking all 7 Rocky/Creed villains. Let's get into it. What's up, Stallone fans? Welcome back to the Stallone Kid. Welcome back to the channel. Right before I start, I want to say thank you guys for the support. And guys, I have a lot of great videos, a lot of crazy ideas I might do, so stay tuned. If you are a Stallone fan, make sure to subscribe for more daily Stallone news, updates, theories, really just all things Stallone. I'll make a lot of stuff, and make sure to check out for my broadcast. Every Saturday, I have a new episode of my broadcast. It's called Stallone Network, where I just talk about Sylvester Stallone. Tomorrow will be the new episode, episode 2, and if you guys want to come on talk about Stallone with me, let me know on my Instagram, Stallone Kid. But anyway, today we're ranking all the villains in the Rocky universe, or the Creed movies as well. So, for recap, these are all the villains, or not really villains, I would say more of just the person that they fight, because they're not all bad. Well, most of them are, but not all of them. So, first, we have Apollo Creed from Rocky 1 and 2. Then we have Clubber Lang from Rocky 3. Then we have Ivan Drago from Rocky 4. Then we have Tommy Gunn from Rocky 5. Then we have Mason the Lion Dixon from Rocky Balboa. Then we have Pretty Rick Collin from Creed. And then we have Victor Drago from Creed 2. So, without further ado, let's start ranking them. So, last place for me, coming out 7th place, I'm going to go Pretty Rick Collin from Creed. This guy is not like the other villains. The other villains, I would say, they're more involved in the story. This guy's more here just so we have somebody to fight. I feel like this movie, and that's not a bad thing, I feel like this movie is more focusing on Adonis and his story rather than the villain. The villain still has a sort of an interesting story. You can say, you know, he's trying to, just like his last fight, he's trying to make sure he get enough money so he can just feed his family, or, you know, really just be able to do all that. And I'm pretty sure it was pretty cool. The fighting was good. I'm pretty sure he actually is a real fighter. The acting was good as well. You know, it's just not really too much of him and not too much to go off. So yeah, I don't think he's gonna be up there too much. And so yeah, we're gonna have him at last place. 6th place, I am gonna go Mason the Lion Dixon from Rocky Balboa. Kind of the same. This is not, I don't think they're really evolving his story as much. You still see a lot of stuff like he's this heavyweight champion who, you know, he's fought everyone, you know, and, you know, there's no one else to fight, and people already call him a coward because he's fighting these sort of weaker people, but it's like the only person out there. So he has a pretty cool arc, you could say, and then of course he kind of underestimates Rocky Balboa, and when they fight, and then he actually wins. He actually has a real challenge, like he actually wants to have a challenge, and then he actually wins. He actually does win, and he does find his confidence, and also Rocky Balboa finds confidence. I thought it was pretty good. I thought the acting was all good. Just like the other one, I feel like it's not out there. We don't get too much of him, and you know, he's not interesting me as much as the other villains, you could say. So that's why it's coming at 6th place. Coming at 5th place, we're going Tommy Gunn from Rocky 5. Like I said, Rocky 5 is one of the most hated Rocky film, you could say. And I do have it at last place for me, and that film, it does have a lot of problems, but I still really like the film, and I still think it's a great film. I feel like Tommy Gunn was pretty good. I thought the acting was really good by the actor. The actor was actually just a boxer, never really act. I thought the acting was really good. I felt like I had a pretty cool arc, you could say, about him being, him not knowing too much, not doing anything, and then he's like sort of a fan of Rocky. Rocky trains him, and then he gets more involved in the money, and then eventually he fights. People say like, oh, you're no Rocky, and how he betrayed Rocky, so he does a whole street fight with Rocky. Sort of like a student versus, you know, a student versus teacher. So I thought that was cool. You know, just the whole Tommy Gunn stuff didn't really fascinate me as much as Rocky 5. I feel like the stuff that fascinated me more was more just, I think the thing that highlighted that was Rocky and Adrian, and more of just Rocky trying to get back on top. I feel like they could have done that a little better. But I still like the student versus teacher right now. I feel like Tommy Gunn was pretty cool. So that's why I put Tommy Gunn there. Alright, so 4th place. This is when we get the difficult ones, because all these villains from now on are great, like really good villains. Okay. I'm gonna go. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna go Victor Drago from Creed 2. I loved Victor Drago from Creed 2. It was so good. His arc was amazing, and of course, just carry on from his father, Ivan Drago. I thought that stuff was so beautiful in Creed 2. So Victor Drago, he sort of grew up in hatred. You know, his father lost to Rocky in Rocky 4, and now his now he's really just teaching him in like hatred. Like he was born in hatred, you know. This is all he knows. Like his father was brutal to him, and of course it's very sad. Like, you know, his mother left him at a young age because Ivan Drago lost, and Ivan Drago goes through a lot of pain. He's basically like making like, you cannot lose this. Like, you cannot lose this. And then, of course, the ending of Creed 2 is so emotional when Ivan Drago throws in the towel for him. And I feel like it ended really well with him running down there. I thought this villain was great, and I felt like he had a lot of great stuff. Of course, he was huge. He was awesome. Definitely deserves to be the Victor Drago son. I'm sure that casting that was a little difficult. I'm pretty sure it had a little pressure on the actor who played as him. Or not really the actor, he's more of a boxer. I don't think he ever acted. He's going to act as Ivan Drago, one of the most iconic villains, Ivan Drago's son. So I thought it was done really well, really intimidating, and it was amazing. So I love Victor Drago. He did great. All right, third place. This might surprise you a lot, but I'm going to Apollo Creed. Now, the reason I put Apollo Creed here, I think as a character, he's up high. But as a villain, he's an amazing villain, but I don't feel like he's like a full villain. Like, he's a good guy. He just, you know, he's a little prideful, but I feel like he's more like a Muhammad Ali. You know, I thought that was like the whole, you can see it when Sylvester won the Oscars. You know, Muhammad Ali came out, you know, he's saying, I'm the real Apollo Creed. I thought that was cool, but I feel like Apollo Creed is awesome. I feel like he never was a villain. I feel like he, in the first Rocky, he's just such a businessman, you know, and he's an amazing fighter. He's just perfect. And then Rocky, you know, there's more of a, you know, he doesn't have all the training, and he's really just training like from what he has, like really punching meat, like, you know. So and him like on Ernest Amy, like he like saying, oh yeah, call the flowers, and then Duke's like, hey, this guy, like, he's a little like, oh yeah, whatever. And then that first fight where he really has to go through it. I feel like Rocky 2 was this huge thing where Rocky 2, he's like, all right, I need to get this back. No, this is what I focus on. And of course, the stuff where they're telling his kids, he'd be like, because he like won the fight, but he didn't win it, you know, because he did win in Rocky 1. So now he's going after him with everything, and then he lost, and then him going up to Rocky and, you know, saying thank you. And, you know, I'm sure that was really hard on him, but he did go up to Rocky. He did say, like, you're a good fighter, you're a good champion, and I feel like that was great. And then, of course, they carry on his thing as not the villain. And of course, in Rocky 3, he trains Rocky, and then of course Rocky 4, you know, happens there. But I feel like Apollo Creed's an amazing villain. Carl Weathers is amazing. I love Apollo Creed. Number one as a character. I mean, but as a villain, I put him a little low. I don't feel like he's more of a villain, so that's why I put him there. All right, so second place, I'm gonna go Clubber Lang, or I guess most people call him Mr. T rather than Clubber Lang, because Mr. T does play as them, and I feel like people seem like, all right, that's just Mr. T. But no, his name is Clubber Lang, but, you know, I guess it's Mr. T. So, him in Rocky 3, this is the villain of Rocky 3, was insane. I mean, he was so entertaining, he's so angry, he's just so, like, he's like, oh, pain. And he goes, I'm not just gonna fight, I'm gonna crucify him. Like, this guy was insane, and I feel like he played him so well, and then he was just so funny at how mad he gets, and it was just the most brutal, angry person of all time. Like, he's training, like, his muscles, he's like screaming on top of his lungs. I feel it was great. I feel like Rocky 3, he really made that film. I mean, it made it. Like, he really helped it out. Like, I don't think Rocky 3 be the film that it is without Clubber Lang, because, you know, he was the person that was Rocky 3 right now. He's like all in sort of a prideful, not really prideful, but more like he's really big in his confidence. You know, he's spending a lot of money. He's fighting these people, and he thinks these people are like these are like the big people, but Mickey knows that these people are just sort of handpicked. They're good fighters. They're not like Apollo Creed or nothing. And then when Clubber Lang wants to fight him, like, this guy's training brutal. And then, you know, Rocky is like his own gym. You know, he's training with like bubbles and pianos. Like, I don't even know what the heck was going on there. But, you know, he's not like the Rocky was in Rocky 1 and 2, training at Mighty Mix, punching the meat. And then of course, you know, Clubber Lang comes in and they fight. And, you know, I feel like Mickey really tried to train him really well, but Rocky just wasn't there. And I feel like he did this fight because, like, and this was gonna be his last fight. But then of course Clubber Lang literally destroys him, and then just that night, of course, Mickey dies, and Rocky has to go to Apollo Creed, get his confidence back, and they fight, and I feel like it's amazing. And by the way, Clubber Lang, if they ever gonna do like a Rocky 7, which most likely not happen, and Rocky has to come back and fight one last person, I would say Clubber Lang, because they already did Ivan Drago, kinda. So, and then I want to bring back, yeah. So I would say Mr. T, bring him back, because just think about what happened to Clubber Lang after that. I feel like he probably went to prison or something. Like, he was a bad guy, but I feel like him I don't want to rehash the whole Rocky 4 thing. I mean the whole Creed 2 thing where they bring his son in, but maybe not his son. Maybe more like just like somebody who he sees himself and he like goes brutal on him. I don't know. I'm going over my head. Second place is Clubber Lang. Number 1, the best one is Ivan Drago from Rocky 4. Oh my gosh, the most insane villain of all time. Like, this villain is crazy. So Rocky 4 was the film that really just went all out 80s. Rocky 3 was sort of like kind of balancing with that 80s with a little bit of the first 2 Rockies, but Rocky 4 was like, nope, we're going full 80s. And it had a couple emotional moments, you could say, but this movie just was insane. And I feel like that whole thing with Ivan Drago, this guy who was literally like almost like made in the lab, basically. Like, he was made for this, he trains 24/7 in like with these machines, he's taking like steroids, and he doesn't talk. He's like a soldier kind of. It was like, he's like a robot, man. Like, he's just like the perfect fighter. Like, he has like 1,800 pounds. So this guy is like the next generation of fighter. Like, this is like a time travel fighter. Like, this is the fighter from like the future, basically. Not actually, but that's what it was like. And to see him, like, the whole country, like, this was during the Cold War at this time. Like, the whole country of Russia, like, this when they fought, it was literally America versus Russia in a boxing fight. Like, this was like the war, basically. And then of course, like, he's an insane fighter. Like, he is brutal. Like he literally alright, now I don't want to say spoilers, but just in case you're watching this, you have not seen the other Rockies, which would be a little weird. But spoilers, of course he kills Apollo Creed, and like, that was like brutal. If he dies, he dies. Of course, a classic line. And he's just so entertaining to watch. Dolph Lundgren did such a great job of bringing him to life, and he's just like this 7-foot huge guy, and it's Rocky going to fight him, getting revenge for Apollo Creed. It was just so good. And then of course the training montages in Rocky 4, I could talk about that for hours. And then of course the huge fight, the Rocky 4 final fight, one of the best fights in, I was just cinematic history. I got to explore that fight in the Rocky 4 director's cut and feeder. Let me say, I didn't skip my workout that night, or the next day, I can tell you that for sure. But, so it was just amazing. And of course, at the end, you see him, where he's like, I fight for me. Like, he's not fighting for this country, he's doing it for himself. And then of course he loses the fight, and of course we carry on his character in Creed 2, where he lost everything, his wife, his respect for his country. Like, he was born for this. Now he's putting all his pressure on his son. He's making sure his son does not lose. And then of course that Creed 2 fight, where he sees his son getting beaten up. He knows he's gonna lose, and his son's really trying, but he frozen tells for his son, because now he remembers what's most important. It's his family. And then you see him and his son not training really aggressive, just running, having a fun time, just running down and just enjoying their training rather than like, almost running him over with a car. So I feel like they're the most developed Rocky villains. If you're unless you're counting Apollo Creed, I'd say he is, but some would say he's not really a villain. He's more just like the person that Rocky fought. But wow, I love him. So yeah, there it is, guys. There's me ranking all of the villains in Rocky and Creed. Let me know what you guys think. If you don't want to say the whole ranking, just say what's your favorite, say what's your worst, say whatever you want in the comments. It's your life. So yeah, put in the comments, guys, what you want for next videos. There's some recommendations down. More rankings to come. I might rank all the Rocky training montages. I'll say right now, my favorite, personally, I'll just say it real quick, is Rocky 2. That I feel like that was the most motivational one for me. And I'm gonna say Rocky 4, but I feel like Rocky 2, something about that is awesome. But anyway, guys, see you guys later, guys. More awesome videos to come. Make sure to subscribe for more daily Cobra Kai. I said Cobra Kai. Sorry, I have my own Cobra Kai channel, where I make a lot of videos on. Check out that channel. It's like almost 700 subscribers. It's doing really good. But I talk about Cobra Kai a lot, so I mix it up. But make sure to check out for more Rocky Stallone videos. See you guys next time, and always remember, keep punching. Peace.